Very good morning, dear students. Today, in the subject of network analysis, we are going to study about Millman's theorem for AC networks. The statement is in front of you. For AC network, Millman's theorem states that if n number of voltage sources, that is V1, V2, V3 up to Vn, having internal impedances Z1, Z2, Z3 up to Zn respectively, are connected in parallel across the load ZL. You can see this. This is connected here. This is parallelly connected. Okay. Then this arrangement may be replaced by a single voltage source V equivalent in series with equivalent impedance Z equivalent. ZEQ. See this. We have n number of, this is Z1, this is Z2, this is Z3, and up to we have Zn impedances, which are this Z1, Z2 and Z3 are nothing but internal impedances of the voltage sources we have here V1, V2, V3 and up to Vn. These are connected in what manner? These are connected in parallel manner. You can see. These are connected in parallel manner. See this. This point and this point is common. This point and this point is common. For all the parallel combination of Z and V. These are connected across ZL. This is your ZL, which is across load terminal A and load terminal B. So this whole arrangement can be replaced by a circuit which is having Z equivalent and ZL in series with a voltage source V equivalent. This is a Millman's theorem, which was actually discovered by famous electrical engineer Mr. Millman, on whose honor this theorem has been named. This is nothing but a combination of Thevenin's and Norton's theorem. Okay, when you go to apply this theorem, you will find that this is nothing but a special case of Thevenin and Norton's theorem. This theorem is also known as parallel generator theorem. See this, we have V equivalent. V equivalent can be written as V1 Y1 plus V2 Y2 plus V3 Y3 up to for voltage number Vn, Yn divided by the admittances Y1 plus Y2 plus Y3 up to Yn. This is Y is your admittance 1, and Z equivalent can be found out by the reciprocal of all the admittances taken together. See this. I hope you are aware of the relationship between Z is equal to 1 by Y. This is our impedance and Y is your admittance. See this. Y is equal to 1 upon Z, where Z1, Z2, Z3 are the impedances and Y1, Y2, Y3 are the admittances, and the relationship between impedance and the admittance is given by Y is equal to 1 by Z or Z is equal to 1 by Y. Is the relationship. This theorem is applicable only to solve the parallel branch. Please mark this. This is applicable only to solve the parallel branch with one impedance or resistance connected to voltage or current source. With one resistance connected to voltage or current source. The voltage source, that voltage source which are into the question, which are into the theorem, the voltage sources can be converted into current sources by source transformation method. We know this by source transformation method. Okay. Now this is our example. Let us understand by doing this example. Using Millman's theorem, we have to find current through AB. Where is the point AB? This is point A. This is point B. This is a circuit given to us. This is voltage source 10 angle 0 degree volt. This is resistor 5 ohm. This is capacitor of resistance value minus J3 ohm. This is resistor 2 ohm. This is inductor of resistive value J4 ohm. This is another voltage source 20 angle 45 degree volt. Now what we are asked, using Millman's theorem, we have to find current through AB. Now this, if simply there was a question to find current through AB, there was no problem. Okay, if there was a problem to find current flowing across AB, so there are n number of methods to calculate current flowing through the terminal A and B. But this is the special case of falling under Millman's theorem. We have to apply Millman theorem. We have to apply Millman theorem to calculate current from A to B or current flowing in the branch connected AB. Okay. Now let us understand. See this solution is given is V1 is given to us 10 angle 0 degree volt, V2 is given to us 20 angle 45 degree volt. Now we have to calculate admittance 1. What is the admittance 1? See this admittance 1. So we have to find out here impedance 1 and impedance 2. This is so easy to find impedance 1 and impedance 2. This is okay. So impedance 1 is of 5 ohm, so it is your 0.2 S. So likewise this is your admittance 2, so it is 1 by Z2. Y2 is equal to 1 by Z2 is equal to 1 by minus Z3. 1 by minus Z3. So V equivalent is equal to V1 Y1 and V2 Y2 upon Y1 plus Y2. So it is, put the value of V. V is your 10 angle 0 degree. Y1 value 0.2 S. This is your V2 value 20 angle 45 degree. Put the value of Y2. This is 0.33 angle 90 degree. This is the combination of Y1 plus Y2, Y1 plus Y2. So V equivalent, calculate this, you will get 13.94 angle 60.97 degree volt. So Z equivalent is equal to 1 by Y equivalent. So this is your Y equivalent, this is your Y equivalent. Put here 0.2 plus 0.33 angle 90 degree 1 upon this inverse. So it is coming 2.59 angle minus 58.78 degree ohm. This is the unit of impedance is ohm and the unit of Y is mho. Okay, sometimes it is also called Siemens. Now this is your Millman's equivalent circuit. By using this Z equivalent data, this Z equivalent data, V equivalent data, see this V equivalent and this Z equivalent, we have drawn the Millman's equivalent circuit. We know the elements connected across point A and point B terminal AB, that is you have 2 ohm and minus J4 ohm. So we can very much easily calculate IAB, current flowing through this branch, that is IAB, which is given by V equivalent, this V equivalent upon the total resistance of this series branch, that is Z equivalent plus 2 plus J4. Z equivalent is 2.59 angle minus 58.79 from the previous calculations. This is your 2 plus J4. This is your 2 and this is your J4. Okay. So it is, calculate this by using calculator. You will get IAB is equal to 3.68 angle 32.79 degree ampere. So the current through branch AB is equal to 3.68 angle 32.79 degree ampere. This is your answer. This was so easy to understand. So Millman theorem is actually the combination of Thevenin's theorem and Norton's theorem, but we are not going to apply Thevenin Norton. This is the way we are doing this. This is the solution. This is the master solution. Okay. So one theorem which is you should know is your compensation theorem. Compensation theorem says, you have to understand it very clearly, that in any circuit there is voltage drop Iz. In any circuit there is voltage drop Iz. This is your voltage drop across any impedance Z. This is impedance across this. Then according to compensation theorem, this impedance may be replaced by compensation EMF, which is replaced by compensation EMF, which is dependent source of value Iz, which is dependent source of value Iz, which is a dependent source of value Iz. Okay. Likewise, the similar fashion, what we are going to do, what we have observed, that if the voltage across any element or branch of a network containing any impedance Z is V, any impedance Z is V, the element of branch may be replaced by a current source I is equal to V by Z. See this. What is the application? Application number 1. What is that? Compensation theorem is useful in determining current. It is useful in determining current. We can very much easily apply this compensation theorem wherever it is required to apply to find out the value of current flowing across a specified branch or a specified element. Application number 2. Application number 2. The voltage changes in a circuit element. The voltage changes in a circuit element when the value of its impedance is changed. We know this. V changes when the value of V and Z changes. So this application occurs in bridge and potentiometer circuits. In bridge and potentiometer we have got a wide application. The next is your Teligence theorem. In this, we are going to understand or study Teligence theorem. The statement is, the Teligence theorem states that at any time t, the algebraic sum of instantaneous power, I'm talking about instantaneous power, in n branches of any network is 0 if KCL and KVL are satisfied. Okay, this is so easy theorem which says that at any point of time t, the algebraic sum of instantaneous power in n branches of any network is 0 when KVL and KCL are satisfied. Mathematically, we can give this sigma Vkik from k is equal to 1 to k is equal to n is equal to 0. This is your voltage and this is your current of kth branch, where Vk is your instantaneous voltage. Vk is your instantaneous voltage drop in each branch, or you can say kth branch. There is branch number kth starting from 1 to n. In between 1 to n, there is branch number kth. In a generalized way, we can say that. So, Ik is what? Ik is your, again, instantaneous current in either each branch or kth branch. Now let us see. By considering this network, we can assign voltage. Okay, V1 is given to you 6 volt, V2 is given to you 4 volt, V3 is 3 volt, and V4 is your unity volt. So, current I1 is 5 ampere, current I2 is 2 ampere, current I3 is 3 ampere, and current I4 is 3 ampere. So, this is the arrangement of elements for particular Thevenin's Teligence theorem example. Now, let us go for the proof, that is step 1. Step number 1 is verification of KCL at node A. Where is node A? See this. I1 is equal to I2 plus I3. This is incoming current I1 and this is outgoing current I2 and I3. So this is your node A. So at node A, this I1 is actually dividing into I3 and I2. This I1 is actually dividing into I2 and I3. This is your I2 and I3. So put the value given. It is I1 is given to you 5 ampere and I2 I3 is given to you. I2 is 2 ampere and I3 is your this much ampere. We are just cross verifying the results. So it is hence at node B. Where is node B? See this. This is node B. This is node B. At node B, the value of I3 current is equal to the value of I4 current, which is actually the I4 is coming here, so it is I4. Okay, and this is your I3. So the value of I3 and the value of I4 is same. It is actually same. See this I3 is series flowing in this, so the value of I3 must be equal to the value of I4. Okay. Now the verification of KVL in mesh 1. There are two meshes, that is in mesh 1, this is 1, this is 2. In mesh 1, it is minus V1 minus V2 plus V0 is equal to 0. Around the closed loop, the summation of all the voltages drop and voltages rise must be equal to 0. This is the statement of Kirchhoff voltage law. And as per this Kirchhoff voltage law, we have written this equation minus V1 minus V2 plus V0 is equal to 0. Put the value of V1 given to you, V2 given to you, and V0 given to you, which is, see this. Okay, so it is this. Likewise, in mesh 2, we have V2 minus V3 minus V4 is equal to 0, which is verified. So, KVL and KCL are satisfied. What we were actually doing here, we were actually satisfying KCL and KVL here. This is no big mathematics here. There is no big mathematics involving any kind of extra logic required here. It is very simple mathematics involved, which is actually requiring to satisfy your KVL and KCL separately. For the KCL, we have assumed a node, and the node we have seen that what is the node law, what is the KCL law. At node, there must not be any storage of charge, that is, incoming must be equal to outgoing. So we have seen that incoming is equal to outgoing. So KCL was verified. And what we have seen in KVL says in a closed loop, around the closed loop, the summation of rising potential plus the summation of drop in potential must be equal to 0. So we have seen this. If KCL and KVL are satisfied, then it means what? Then it means what? This is theorem is actually proved. This theorem states that at any time t, the algebraic sum of instantaneous power in n branches of any network is 0 if KCL and KVL are satisfied. Okay, so we have satisfied the KVL and KCL and this Taylor's theorem has been proved. See this? One very important part of this Taylor's theorem is the instantaneous power. The instantaneous power, the calculation of power in each branch. That is minus V1 into I1, that is minus 30 watt, minus V2 into I2, that is minus 8 watt, minus V3 into I3, it is minus 9 watt. Wherever there is voltage and current, there is voltage source or current source, we can calculate the power delivered or power consumed according to sign. So it is the summation from k is equal to 1 to n, the summation of Vk Ik is equal to minus 3a, minus 8, minus 9, minus 3, plus 50 is equal to 0 from this two. So it is proved, or we can also say that power supplied is equal to power dissipated. This was so easy. Thank you for watching this Taylor's theorem video. Okay. In this video, we are going to learn about substitution theorem. This is so easy theorem which says that in any branch in a network can be replaced or substituted by an independent voltage source without affecting the current through that branch or by an independent current source without affecting the voltage across that branch. This is very much clear about what we have actually seen this, what is actually written for this theorem statement. It is actually very much clear by the diagram it is shown here. See this. This is your diagram. This is terminal A at plus, terminal B at minus, and its current IAB is flowing from A to B across this Z, and Z is having potential VAB across it. So it is replaced by either this one or either this one. This is what it is the statement of this theorem, that any branch in a network can be replaced. It is replaced. It is replacement 1, it is replacement 2. It is replacement 1 and it is replacement 2 by an independent voltage source. This is independent voltage source without affecting the current through the branch, or by independent current source without affecting the voltage across that branch. If it is voltage source, current will not be affected, or if it is current source, the voltage will not be affected. So this is your substitution theorem. We are going to substitute this thing either by this one or either by this one. Let us understand more by taking an example, that is, replace the impedance ZAB. This is your A, this is your B. Replace the impedance ZAB by an independent source by another branch. We are going to apply this substitution theorem. This is your volt is given 100 angle 0 degree volt. See this. We are going to apply this Maxwell loop equation, that is, this 4 ohm and this J 4 ohm are common to loop number 1 and loop number 2. Okay, so it will be at diagonal elements. This is 5 ohm, this is 4 ohm, this is minus J2 ohm, this is J4 ohm. So we have 5 plus 4, that is 9 ohm, plus 2 J. Okay, and for the diagonal element we have minus 4 plus J4, and it is similar, minus 4 plus J4, and the second one is 2 is your 6 ohm plus 5 ohm plus 4 ohm, that is 15 plus 14 J. Here it is written, it is actually 12. J8 and J4 is actually 12, sorry for that. So it is 9 plus J2, 9 plus J2 minus 4 plus J4 minus 4 plus J4 upon 15 plus J12. And what was the current flowing? The current flowing is actually, in this current flowing is I1 and in this current flowing is I2. So it is I1 I2 is equal to voltage given to you, V1 is 100 angle 0 degree and it is 0 volt. Now solve this by matrix method, that is I2 is given by I2 is equal to, put the value voltage 2. This is replaced by this one, put this into this one and calculate. I2 is equal to 9 plus J2, 100 angle 0 degree, this one, calculate by using calculator, we have VAB is equal to IAB RAB. That is, IAB is calculated here, and RAB, you know where is RAB? RAB is this. This is your RAB. So multiplied by 5, which is your 18.4 angle 1.32 degree volt. Okay. Now see this, ZAB is replaced by current source. ZAB is replaced by current source. We have, see this current source. This is your I2. I2 below 3.68 angle 1.32 degree. 3.68 angle 1.32 degree. So this is your complete answer. Now we can also have ZAB is replaced by voltage source. We have calculated voltage here. See this VAB. VAB is 18.4 angle 1.32 degree volt. So it is 18.4 angle 1.32 volt. This is our complete solution of this substitution theorem, which is very much useful and it is so easy to understand. This was all about this substitution theorem. Thank you for watching, and I hope you must have understand this. This is very easy, so easy.